tonight what we wanted to do was go over some of the new things that we're doing for general community members, but specifically homeschooling parents. Obviously, it's a big thing going on right now because, of course, schools are still closed for the foreseeable future. So a lot of parents are, if not doing homeschooling completely, then they are thinking about supplementing the Spokane public school with some homeschooling options. So we wanted to just kind of go over the library website. And actually, before I do that, I guess I should introduce everyone. So I'm Joanne Percy. I'm the adult librarian at Liberty Lake. And I also do some teen programming, but I concentrate on adult books, adult programming, etc. And then Jandy is Jandy Humble. She's the children's librarian. She's the co-host of this meeting. She'll be going over some of the databases, the homework help page. And then we have Cassie Keener, who is a homeschool parent in Liberty Lake who has lots of experience and is going to, give us some tips and pointers and just experiences as a homeschooling parent. So basically, this is the web page. If you've seen it before, if you've used it, you may not know where to find things because we've been working on it, and it's kind of a work in progress constantly. We've been updating things all the time. So I just wanted to kind of go over the things at the top here, which is where you're going to find most of the content on the website. So the first thing is books and more. This is where you're going to log in if you have a library account. If you just want to search our catalog, you're just going to sign into your library account here, and you can then search the catalog. If we don't have something, we are a part of a network of, I think it's about 28, 29 other libraries, including Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Hayden, and a bunch of other ones, a lot of smaller ones in mostly northern Idaho. So if you don't find something in our library, you can always, have it brought from another library. And then we just made a new books page, which I'll quickly show you, hopefully. There we go. And this really is exactly that. It's we're just showcasing the books that we have recently ordered and got into the library. So these are usually the last month's worth of books. So take a look at those. We've got new picture books, chapter books, teen fiction, and then adult books. I'm not going to click on all of those, but it's kind of self-explanatory. Ebooks and audiobooks. If you are in the 99019 zip code and you have a library card starting with 10, you have access to all of the CIN, Overdrive, and Washington Anytime library. So that's where you'll go for that. And then something that we have just started, I can't see it very well, there we go, is this library book bundles. This is, we've kind of started this because you can't come into the library right now, which we are very sad about. So instead of being able to browse, we're basically browsing for you. So you see here under library book bundles, and then at the bottom it says request a library book here. It will take you to this form, and I'll show you it. And it just basically, you just put in your name, your library card number, how many books you want, and it doesn't just have to be books. You can also request DVDs or audiobooks. And then you just tell us a little bit about what you want. So if you're, looking for your preschool, then you might be looking for picture books or chapter books for a, school age, and then teen books and adult books. Then you can also tell us a little bit more about the genres that you particularly like. Some people really love biographies and memoirs, and they don't want, fantasy. So if you tell us a little bit more about what you want, then we can definitely go browse the shelves and get things for you. And then here, tell us more. If you're a family and you don't want to fill this out multiple times, if you want to tell us more about other people in your family, what they are looking for. If you have a 4-year-old who loves dragons, this would be the place to tell us. Similarly, if you've got a teen who loves Harry Potter but hates Stephanie Meyer, well, make sure you tell us there, okay? And in the family picks here, okay? So that's book bundles. Let me go back. And I think that's pretty much all I wanted to showcase in Books and More. Online library, we'll go over in a moment. using the library is another important one. This is, if you don't already have a library card for Liberty Lake, you can go ahead and get a library card online. And then at the moment, we've got holds pickup hours, which is Monday through Saturday, different times, usually 10 to 3 or 10 to 4. And then you would just call us from the parking lot and we will bring out your card, we'll check your address, etc. But that's how to get a library card if you don't already have one. And then as school starts, you can book a librarian, which is exactly what it sounds like. If I click on that, you can send us an email or call us if you have questions, if you don't know how to use a database, or if anything else really. If you're having trouble finding an article that you need for for school, then you can book some time with us. We can also just we can share screens and go over the website and really show you how to use these databases. And over here we've got specific aged early learners, school-aged teens, adults, and this just gives you a little more information specifically for those ages. Okay. Calendar events is really good to know. You should keep an eye on it. If you're using Facebook or Instagram, we put all of our programs there. But if you take a look at the full calendar events, you'll see all of the upcoming programs. Let's go into September because we're kind of done for August. But September, we've got a ton of stuff coming up. Again, unfortunately, we can't do in-house programs. So we're doing a lot of take and make kits, which is, going to be really good as a supplement to the school day. If some of it's going to be STEM, some of it's going to be art, and some of it's just going to be, plain old crafts. But that's going to be, some really fun kits to come pick up at the library. And we have them for all ages. We've got, family crafts, we have school age crafts, teen crafts, and then also adult. So keep an eye out for those. Okay, and then so what I really wanted to showcase today was this new page that we put together for you, which is Homeschool Resources. So I'll go ahead and select that. Okay, and I've broken it out into hopefully easy, an easy place to get started, basically. So we have getting started, state and legal info, homeschool organizations. These are like, they are Washington. And then you've got local Spokane area homeschool groups and co-ops. And then it goes on. So if you go to getting started, which is where some of you are going to be, I can't give out, too much information for, legally, because I'm not a lawyer and I can't do that. For legal reasons, we can't really give you too much guidance with, compliance. But that is what we've put together so that you can go find that information yourself. Okay, so if you click on this, it's the specific to Washington. This is the advocacy group that they have a ton of really good information for people that are new to homeschooling, or even, you've been doing it a while and you just need to find out some information. So it tells you, how to comply with Washington's laws, how to withdraw your child. There is a form for that. Record keeping, which records to keep, best practices, that kind of thing. And then I put, I put here record keeping, that you can click there immediately and find exactly what they're saying. These are the documents you really should be keeping. And that's a sample letter if you are planning on providing home instruction. This is the Washington State webpage. It's a PDF. And it is just a sample letter, so you can go ahead and kind of create your own using this as a guide. Okay. Oops. And then, as I said, reading resources. We have put together some lists for you of other. This is not something necessarily that we have through the library. Some of these are pay and some of these are free. We do have Tumble books. And we do have some literature databases, but I also put some extra ones in here that people were recommending as homeschooling parents, Reading Eggs and Sparkle Stories. And then toolkits and lesson plans. Again, some of these we have access to on our webpage, but most of them are just, they're online, web-based programs that I have had people recommend. So, feel free to take a look at these. They're definitely things that are tried and true. We haven't just sort of cobbled things together. Again, K-12 online courses. Some of these you've probably heard of already. Coursera is a big one. This is really high school and above, mostly college level, to be honest, level courses, but really useful stuff, especially for parents. If you're wanting to, find out some more information, if you need to take some classes yourself, that's a good place to go. Khan Academy, the schools use this, a great deal for additional practice. The great courses, we do have access to some great courses in the library, but this is the website. And I believe if you have a Roku or some kind of streaming device, you can actually get the great courses through that, whether it's the Fire Stick or whatever it's called, or as I said, Roku. You can use that. And then a few homeschooling blogs. I thought this was really nice. Just a nice resource to have. It's right there for you. If you're having a really bad day, you can go to some of these and you can see that other people are having bad days too. So, feel free to check these out. I took a look at some of them. There's some really nice blogs available. And then we have put together our own book recommendations. Jandy's put together specific recommendations for children's books, easy readers, and then we have Parent Guide to Homeschooling. So if you clicked on this, you'll find a book list of homeschooling, how-tos basically for you. So as you get started, and I have just actually ordered in and received quite a few new homeschooling books. So take a look at our library catalog if you're interested. We have a ton of new stuff coming in. And then I also put in homeschooling and autism because, there is obviously additional things that you need to be aware of if you have a child, either with autism on the spectrum or with any other special needs. They're going to need a little additional help. And this is a good place to take a look and see, other curricula that is good for people on the spectrum, and then books and other resources. If you, take a look at this, there's some articles and book recommendations that we've had from other homeschooling parents. Okay. So that is pretty much it for the homeschooling resources. This is kind of like what they call a living document, I guess. I really want input from parents themselves. So, if you have curriculums that you're using that you really love, let us know so we can add those. If you are seeing something on here that you absolutely hate, we would love to know that too. And, maybe update those lists. So feel free to contact us. Our contact information is on this website, but we'll send it out as well. And we just really love to hear, what you are using and how it's been useful for you. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over now to Jandy. She is going to go over, as I said, the homework help page and some of the databases.
Okay, can you guys see my screen? It's homework help right here?
Yep.
Okay, good. So my name is Jandy Humble. I'm the children's librarian here at Liberty Lake. I wanted to go over some databases that we offer that I thought would be helpful if I were homeschooling my child. My daughter Eve is 8 months old, so I don't have to worry about that just yet. But to me as a parent, I would just want to have like lesson plans and like a map of like what I should do and what I needed as help. So I wanted to go over a couple of databases some new databases that we have that I think would be particularly helpful. The first one I wanted to go over is over here in the reference page. So this is our homework help page. We have all of our different databases broken up into the various categories. So we have reference, newspapers and magazines, literature, history, people and places, languages, that sort of thing. One of the databases that I wanted to show you is our Worldbook Online. So this past fall, we looked into getting like a new set of encyclopedias or like an online encyclopedia. And when I was looking into Worldbook Online, I thought it would just be like dictionary.com, where you go in and you type in your word like leopard, and it just gives you, you know, this is what a leopard is, or it just says like, this is how you spell this word. But they really decked their database out, and it has lots of really great resources. So I wanted to point a couple out. So this is Worldbook Online. It's separated into the various age groups. So we have early learning, kids, student, and advanced. The main thing I wanted to show you guys is, so this is our early learning page. So this is for kids, you know, in preschool, kindergarten, first grade. It has various different videos and games and stories and activities of different things that you could pull out to do with your, you know, your preschooler, your kindergartner. If you hear like some sound in the background, it like, once you hover over the word, it like says the word. So that's why you might hear like different sounds as I'm moving my mouse. But the main thing I wanted to show you guys with these databases is down here at the bottom, it has a For Educators button. Let's see. I guess with this one, it's up here. There's a little button that says For Grown-ups. And so this it breaks down everything for you as an adult. So it has the curriculum correlation. So you can come down here. You can put, I'm in Washington State. Whoops. That zoomed really far out. You can put, and now it zoomed really far in. You can put that you live in Washington. You can put the subject that you're looking for, science, let's say, and you can put my child is in kindergarten. It will bring up what the state, like Common Core curriculum standards are, and then it will link to the different activities or activities that it has that correlates to that. And so then all you have to do is click on that, and it will take you to that lesson plan. It'll take you to that game or activity and break down everything into like a lesson plan for you. So that's something that I thought was really helpful as a parent, is it's like, here's your resource, just go right here. Here's the lesson plan. This is what you can do. I just know for me, like, science isn't my strong point. So this is something that I thought was really helpful. The other thing I wanted to show you is with the guided reading programs, if you're trying to teach your child to read, it has all these different stories that you can read with your child. It will tell you the lexile level, and it will bring up a little lesson plan, and it will say, okay, so this book is working on the letter G, or this book is working on these sight words, I am here. And it will give you the different discussion points, questions that you can ask your child about. It has a little spot where you can like print out the book, and so they can like physically read it, so they don't have to read it on a screen if maybe that's not their thing. And it goes through the whole story with you. So I know for me, like, I feel like when I'm trying to teach Eve to learn to read, like at the beginning, I might be a little bit overwhelmed. So I thought this was like a really good, helpful resource that you could turn to. So that's the thing that I really liked about our World Book. Let me just get out of this and these words. So the World Book is broken up into all the different age groups. So it has early learners, kids, students, and advanced. So kids is, you know, elementary aged. And so this is a really great resource if you're trying to do an animal report with your child, or you're trying to do, you know, a state report. They need to do a report on Alabama, or they need to do a country report, or important people. And it will bring up everything. It'll, you know, you click on Alabama, and it will tell you all those things that you need to know, what the capital is, what the population is, what the, you know, the state flower is, all that different things. And then it will also give you pictures and stuff. So if you need to do like a state report or a report on an animal, this is a great place to go. So yeah, I hope you guys will look into this. All you have to do is log in, and then you just have to type in your library card right here, and it will bring you right here. Okay. Let me move to my other categories, or my other tabs. Let's see. Another great database that we have is our Gale in Context Biography. I have so many fourth graders or older kids that come in and they want me to show them where the biography books are because they need to do a report on Abraham Lincoln or whoever. The great thing about Gale in Context Biography is that it has 5,000 different important people. So I know sometimes I'll get a child that's coming in with a, you know, we can't have 5,000 books in the library on every different important person. So this is a really great resource for that, is that they can come here and they can browse and come up with ideas if maybe they don't know who they want to do their report on. It will give different topics, you know, celebrities, people in history, people in science, that sort of thing. And then it will give them, let's see, I have Alabama, but I wanted to do Abraham Lincoln. So I think this is definitely a little bit more of an older reading level. So this would probably be really good for older elementary, middle school, high school, but it will tell them all about their life and that sort of thing. It also has different pictures, and it'll have a timeline you can click on to see what they were doing at different points in their life. So I think that's a really helpful resource. Over here on this side, sorry, I'm going to move you guys a little bit. It will bring up other articles that they can look into, so other resources that they have on that person in history. The last thing I wanted to show you guys is our Gale in Context Opposing Viewpoints. And I think this resource is really great if you have a high schooler or upper middle schooler who needs to write a persuasive paper or an argument paper. And it will, you can see down here I have all the different, it has lots of different topics. So it'll have it on, you know, government spending, standardized testing, law and politics, society and culture. So those papers where they're having to weigh the pros and cons on something that's happening in the world. So like say we're doing one on standardized testing, it will bring up information on what standardized testing is, and then it will kind of go through with them the different pros and cons on that, and kind of help them really explore fully the whole issue as they're trying to write that paper. The other great thing that it has is down here, it has, let's see, where is it? Our educators' resources. The great thing about this this link is that it shows you, it walks you through as a parent or a high schooler on how to write a academic paper. Educators' resources, here it is, down here at the bottom. So it walks you through the whole writing process, how to judge if information is relevant or not, good or bad, how to make a concept web, how to choose a topic, how to write your thesis statement, how to make an outline, and how to do your citations. So I think this is a really, really great resource if you have a high schooler and you're trying to help them write that first paper. So that's all I had that I wanted to talk about as far as databases go. The other thing I wanted to mention is throughout the fall, we're going to be making, each month we're going to be releasing different take and make kits. Mm-hmm. So normally during the school year, every Wednesday I'll have a school-aged activity, and in the mornings I'll have story time, and then in the evenings we'll have teen activities and adult activities. And so this fall we're going to be doing take and make kits, where you can come to the you can sign up, and then you'll come into the library and you'll pick up your kits. Once a month I'm going to be doing a STEM kit, so that's a really great resource that you could use if you're trying to come up with a science activity, technology activity, math activity. All you have to do is come to the library, sign up, and pick up your kits, and it will have the information in the kit on what you need to do, or I might make a video, so something like that. So that's another great way you can supplement your curriculum. If you have younger kids that are in school, preschoolers or early elementary ages, a lot of the libraries in our system have STEM kits. If you go to our catalog and you just type in STEM kit, it will bring up a list of like 50 kits that some of the other libraries have, with different activities that you can check out for. I don't know if it checks out for different kits of activities of stuff that you can take home and do with your kids. So I think that's another great way, another way you can get some help and do something fun with your kids at home during this time. So I think that's everything I wanted to touch on. Let me know if anyone has any questions.
Oh, I think, Jandy, you were also thinking about putting together additional classics, like juvenile classics?
Yes. Was developing a classics collection within our juvenile, so our J section, and our young adult section. We want to develop, it would be labeled as J Classic or YA Classic, and then we would just have a big chunk of classic books. So if you have any books that you think would be really good to add to that collection, let me or Joanne know and we can add that. So I just thought that would really help with browsing when you're able to come into the library, or if you're just in the catalog, you can search that tag. So you could search J Classic or YA Classic, and it would bring up all those books that we have selected. But I just thought that would be especially helpful when you're browsing and you're trying to look for one of those books for your kids to read, that you could just come to one section instead of having to go to Hemingway or all those different authors and go throughout the whole library trying to find them. It would just all be in one place.
Right. Another thing that I've heard other libraries do, and I think we will be offering this, is if you are, whether you're homeschooling or if you have some kind of other homeschooling situation, I think they're calling them pods now. I'm not sure, or bubbles, who knows? But anyway, if you have a specific title list or curriculum with books that you are specifically looking for, maybe they have to be a specific edition or whatever, you can give those to us, or either send them by email or bring them in, and we can then put together books for you so that you don't have to go searching for them. We can actually find those for you. So I thought that might be helpful for some parents. I know, like I said, the other people are doing that. One other thing I do want to go over, this is kind of, you can do it now, but there's also more for when things open up a little more. We've always had, well, for the longest time, at least a year, access to the Science Museum, the Children's Science Museum, Mobius. We have passes. So when that is all opening up again, don't forget, you can come into the library and you can check out a Mobius pass for your children. I think it's like 2 adults and 4 children. So it's a really good resource for parents, especially, you want to get out and about if you're a homeschooler. We also have a backpack that gives you access to Washington State parks. so you can reserve that. If if you're not sure how to do that, you can just give us a call and we'll do that for you. And that just gives you a backpack with maps and some binoculars and the access to the parks itself, so you don't have to pay to get access to any of the state parks in Washington. So another resource. Okay, so I think we're gonna give Cassie a chance to tell us a little bit more about your experience with homeschooling. So we look forward to it.
Well, thank you. I think you have a great, you've done a lot of work there, I can tell. And I think all of your resources there are going to be a great asset to homeschoolers, whether their kids are at home kind of doing public school stuff or they're actually homeschooling. The HSLDA is a great resource for, that legal aspect of homeschooling. I guess what I was thinking of is just starting there, I guess, with two resources that have been really helpful to me. Of course, one is on Facebook, and that is Spokane area homeschool community. And on that Facebook page, the lady that administrates the Washington Homeschool Organization is an administrator on that page. And so they have all of the links there to the WHO, which is Washington Homeschool Organization. And, the basics of it are on September 15th, where to file if you're homeschooling, not going through public school. You're to submit a letter of withdrawal and a declaration of intent to your school district. So for us here, for instance, in Spokane Valley, there is a link that you gave there, but also Central Valley School District has one on their webpage under, I don't know if I can share my screen, but at any rate, it's under Parent Resources and then Forms, I think. And if you scroll down, it's a declaration of intent. At any rate, that's
hey,
submitted.
Cassie, would you like to, I could make you a co-host, I think, or make you host so that you could share your screen if you want to do that?
Well, yeah, let's see if I can, go ahead and then I guess enable it, and then we'll see if I can.
Okay, anytime you want to do that, you can now, I think.
I only thought of that one thing because it is so helpful.
Okay.
So let's see if I can figure out the technology here then. I'm going to share and then go over to their form. So I guess, do you see a form there that says Central Valley?
Yep.
Declaration of intent? And so this is what they're looking for, and this is filed on September 15th. You can see it there as I'm scrolling up. It's in that paragraph, I agree to the conditions, yada, yada. And basically what you're doing is, as a homeschooler, you're taking the burden of education off of the state, and you're saying, I'm going to do that. And so the requirements there are that you list the child's name, obviously birth date, and you can put the grade or not, and then you go ahead and just fill out the parent, your street address, and that bottom left corner there. And the offices, at least for Central Valley, are over on Barker. A lot of times there's a bunch of school buses parked there, but you can also just call them and say, can I submit this there? Some, in the day and age of COVID, actually, they may not want you dropping it off. They may want you to mail it in. And so if you do mail it in, what I usually do is I submit it with a self-addressed stamp envelope. And so they have to sign this form, the school district does, and then they'll send it back to you, a copy back to you. And so you want to keep that in your files for your records. So once you have started your homeschool, of course, you're probably going to be looking for curriculum. And I think I always hear in the old days, in the 80s, there were 2 or 3 curriculum manufacturers or printers. And nowadays, there's just hundreds, if not thousands. So, the first decision there is kind of, is it faith-based or not? That seems to be the first dividing line. And if you can figure that out, then that might make your road a little bit simpler. And so as a parent, you're required to teach 11 subjects, and they're the typical subjects that you would think. And you're also required to at least have 45 credits of college credits, or you take the parent qualifying course. And again, all this information is on that, either the WHO website, Washington Homeschool Organization, or Spokane Area Homeschool Community Facebook page. So if you have 45 credits, I have a bachelor's, but I went ahead and took the parent qualifying course anyway, because the lady that runs it is the one that runs the WHO, and she's a veteran homeschooler and has just a wealth of information, all kinds of questions that could be helpful for you, especially if you're just getting started. So that's where I would start. Also, as homeschoolers, we are required to test annually, and that just means sometime in the year you need to have your kid. For instance, we have a high schooler, and then we have a fifth grader this year, and so our high schooler just takes the PSAT. That qualifies as their annual test. You don't have to show anyone the test results. You just keep it in your files at home, and that's you meeting the requirement. So those are the basics of what you're required to do. But that can look really different depending on your family and home life. So, for us, our older boy, like I said, he's actually just turning 16 now, but we've done this for 5 years now. And he's taken some online courses and is continuing that. And he's also doing, Northwest Christian has a one-day homeschool kind of extension. And so what the teachers do there is for high schoolers, they assign the work, 7th through 12th graders, I think. They assign the work, and then the student completes the work the other 4 days of the week, and then they go back up there and turn all their work in. Younger kids, it's more of an enrichment program. They're not required to do it. And it's a great program. We're not continuing with it because there's just not enough hours in a day to get everything done with our younger boy. But so that's another way to go, where you are really leaning on in Northwest Christian School's case, you're actually not even homeschooling. You don't have to fill out a declaration of intent. So because you're going through a private school, they're an extension of Northwest Christian. But so those are the first two things. I would go to that Facebook page that I mentioned, Spokane Area Homeschool Community. I would think about, do I want secular curriculum or some kind of faith-based curriculum? And that'll at least get you going in the right direction there. And of course, file your declaration of intent on September 15th. And that only is if your child is between the ages of 8 and 18. So if you have a 7-year-old, we have a friend that's going to homeschool their 7-year-old, so they've been in school already. You just need to file a letter of withdrawal. You're not required to submit a declaration of intent because they're not of age yet. So I guess that's kind of all I had. I was more interested in people's questions or hurdles that they were trying to overcome, and if I could be a help there.
Elliot, did you have a question? No.
Yes, actually.
Okay, good.
Okay, I was just curious. You were talking about, because my child is 7, but will turn 8 in April. Do I have to declare then, or because I'm only homeschooling for 1 year in hopes that school goes back? Because I don't go to public school. Actually, he's already been in private school. So who would I even declare to, and do I have to for the last 2 months of school?
Oh, hang on here. What happened? There we go. Sorry. No, you don't have to declare. Both our boys are September birthdays, and so we were in a private school. Sounds like what you're saying. When our younger son was in kindergarten, so he was not 8 years old. We decided when he was going into first grade, that's when we started homeschooling him. And we did not file a declaration of intent or any letter. Of course, we told the school that we're not coming back. Right. But there's no form with the state that you have to fill out with Washington State, because I know we have Idaho right on our border, and I have no idea what they do. But,
Thank you.
With Washington, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
You don't have to. Yep.
Do you have to? You have to keep transcripts for each year so that I saw a webinar with another homeschooling parent. It wasn't in Washington, it was somewhere else. But she'd said that, aside from just record keeping, that she also had to keep yearly transcripts because that it was state mandated. Is that the same in Washington or not so
Right.
much?
We're not mandated to keep transcripts. Like I said, our older boy is up at Northwest Christian, and they actually do all the grading and transcripts. And they also, just as a side note, I don't know if anyone here has a high schooler, but dual credit options are great for high schoolers, and there's a couple of really cheap, good ones, but they will transfer dual credit onto their transcript. So it looks like, basically for Northwest Christian, it looks like you went to high school there. You get a Northwest Christian transcript. Now, if you're straight homeschooling, before we went to Northwest Christian, I did keep my own transcript because my son does want to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that usually in most curriculum, they give you a guideline for how to grade. Just as a guideline, I know not everybody's the same. Northwest Christian's guideline is, let's see, 37, just thinking, it's 150 hours, if I'm not mistaken. 150 hours of work is 1 credit. So it's, I think if I've got the math right, 37 and a half hours per quarter. And that's, in class, that's the time you spend doing the homework. I kind of think of how lawyers work. They charge you by every minute that they think of your case. And so if you've reached 37 and a half hours, that's, at least at Northwest Christian, that's 1 credit. And so the state does have requirements. The State Board of Education, that's another website that might be handy. But if you're going to, they do have minimum requirements for graduating. For instance, you cannot graduate if you're less than 16 years old. That's just a state law. Whether you're public, private, homeschool, you need to be 16 years or older. And they also have in there the requirements for, for instance, 2 years of lab science, 2 years of math, 2 years of foreign language, the typical stuff that you would see in public high school. So those are the requirements. And most parents are going to go down that road if their kids are college bound.
Have you had any issues at all in your homeschooling experience? Have you encountered any problems with the school system itself, or just the curriculum, anything like that? Or has it been...
It's a good question, because I read about a lot of really negative interactions that folks have with the public school, and we have not, is the short answer to that question. We were in a private school prior to this, and to homeschooling. So I think that's why. I think because our kids were never in the, per se, in the public school, that they weren't in their system somehow. Okay. Some people have no problem at all. Other people seem to get hassled. And, so it's good.
It is funny. I'm going to share probably on our Facebook page one of the other webinars that we had with another homeschooler, and like I said, I don't think it's Washington, but it was interesting, some of the hoops this parent had to kind of jump through, which I'm sure if you're in the public school system, there may be more hoops. For instance, go ahead.
I was just going to add that as homeschoolers, we do have the right for our kids to attend public school classes. Mm-hmm. And so although I have not done that with my high schooler, but if you're a high schooler, or it doesn't have to be high schooler, but wants to, say, play sports at your local, the school that they would normally go to, or they want to be in band, or they want to take calculus there, the school does have to provide that. Now, I've not ventured down that road, and that's why those other 2 links, or I guess Facebook group and the WHO website, would be advantageous to look at, to dig into that.
Okay, good. And I also want to add, I did, I think it's the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, or whatever, the HSL, I always get that mixed up. But anyway, it's on that page. I also did put a contact for that, a specific contact. So you've got that email if anyone ever needed to contact someone, it's right there. And they've been really good about getting back to me with questions. So I don't know, I know you can join that group. There's the other one as well. There's 2 advocacy groups on there. I'm assuming if you join, you might get more, bang for your buck, rather than just, sending questions and hoping.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cheap. You might know the cost. We are members.
Okay.
And we did have a question come up where they did give us legal advice. You know, the private school that we went to was not a state approved. You just think they all would be, but they were not. They are not state approved.
Okay.
And so what we learned a lot about homeschooling, private schooling, but I would recommend someone that is going to be a homeschooler, you're going to file that declaration of intent to be it's worth the membership for HSLDA. They actually will give you legal defense if it comes to it.
That's good to know. Okay. I didn't have any other questions. Did anyone else have anything that they would like to? What I would also like to say is I've recorded this because I'm assuming that, you know, it's late. People are, you know, having dinner and they've got lots of things going on. I know, you know, I've got 4 kids at home, so it's kind of crazy even here. But so I've recorded it and I will be putting this up. And feel free, Cassie, to share it in any of your homeschooling groups, you know, so that they can, yeah, so they can, you know, see some of those library resources that we have. But if you don't have any other questions, I think we're probably done. Anything else, Danny?
Yep, and I don't know if, I guess I don't know if I know you have my email, but I'm happy to be a resource however I can, if, you know, because a lot of times questions come up later.
Yeah.
And I might not have the answer, but I might be able to help direct people if you need that from me. So
Perfect.
however I
Thank
can
you.
be helpful.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for attending, and Cassie, thank you so much for giving us all that information. It's very, very, very good to know.
My
Good to have.
pleasure. Yeah, thank you. I look forward to using it. Those both the Worldbooks was great to hear about. The toolkits, I could see our co-op using those kits, I guess. And then I guess one question was I know you have a pass to Mobius, but I wondered if I heard that the MAC just opened, and I wondered if you had a relationship with them.
We do not yet, but it is something that we have talked about. So, you know, we will continue to talk about that and see. I know the friends of the library were the ones who actually paid for our Mobius passes. So, you know, we get a lot of wonderful support from them. So we will definitely look into that and see, you know, what we can provide. So in the coming year.
Yeah, those are field trips I hear about a lot. So, you know, that's another great one. So thank you for doing all that, because that is very useful.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye, and hopefully we'll see you all soon in person. All right.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.